Well, hello, hello, hello. Much love to you all. May God bless you all. Smash that like button, please, and share this out on any platform you have, even if it's a small platform. It just helps the algorithm by the like button and comment. So, we're continuing these small studies on the book of John. We're going to talk about this unfolding drama of Jesus and the blind man in John chapter 9. I'm going to read verse 1 through 5. It says, "And as Jesus passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Jesus answered, Neither hath this man sinned, nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him. I must work the works of him that sent me, while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world." So here we see the disciples coming to him and they're asking, Master or Rabbi, who sinned? And Jesus says, look, this happens so that the works of God may be displayed in this man. So we see the setting of this drama. We see the setting in verse 1 through 5. Now we see the healing in verse 6 and 7. It says, When he had thus spoken, he spat on the ground and made clay of the spittle. And he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay, and said unto him, Go wash in the pool of Siloam, which is by interpretation sent. He went his way, therefore, and washed and came seeing. So now we see the healing. Jesus said, Go and wash in this pool. He spit on the clay, he made it anointed. So then we see the third outline here of the challenge. Look in verse 8 through 12. It says, This is the neighbor's challenge. The neighbors, therefore, and they which before had seen him that he was blind, said, Is not this he that sat and begged? And some said, This is he. Others said, He is like him. But he said, I am he. Therefore said they unto him, How were thine eyes opened? He answered and said, A man that is called Jesus made clay and anointed my eyes and said unto me, Go to the pool of Siloam and wash. I went and washed and received sight. Then said they unto him, Where is he? He said, I know not. So here we see the neighbors' challenge. These neighbors said, Is this the same man who sat and begged? Now his eyes are open. And the man said, I am the man. But some said that he wasn't. They asked him who, and he said, Jesus was this man who told me. He told me to go wash in the pool, and then I could see. So then we see a huge outline here of the Pharisees' investigation. So we see the first phase of the Pharisees confronting the man in verse 13 through 17, where it reads, They brought to the Pharisees him that aforetime was blind. And it was the Sabbath day when Jesus made the clay and opened his eyes. Then again the Pharisees also asked him how he had received his sight. He said unto them, He put clay upon mine eyes, and I washed and do see. Therefore, said some of the Pharisees, This man is not of God, because he keepeth not the Sabbath day. Others said, How can a man that is a sinner do such miracles? And there was a division among them. They said unto the blind man again, What sayest thou of him? That he hath opened thine eyes? He said, He is a prophet. There was even a division between them. So we see phase two. The Pharisees go to confront the man's parents in verse 18 through 23. It said, But the Jews did not believe concerning him, that he had been blind and received his sight, until they called the parents of him that had received his sight. And they asked them, saying, Is this your son, who ye say was born blind? How then doth he now see? His parents answered them and said, We know that this is our son, and that he was born blind. But by what means he now seeth, we know not. Or who hath opened his eyes, we know not. He is of age, ask him. He shall speak for himself. These words spake his parents because they feared the Jews. For the Jews had agreed already that if any man did confess that he was Christ, he should be put out of the synagogue. Therefore, said his parents, he is of age, ask him. I'll share at the end of this a little quick study I did in the book of John about the fear of people. This is one of the verses that's used. So we see phase 2 of this Pharisees investigation. They confront the man's parents. So then we go to phase 3 where they confront the man a second time in verse 24 through 34, where it says, Then again called they the man that was blind and said unto him, Give God the praise. We know that this man is a sinner. He answered and said, Whether he be a sinner or no, I know not. One thing I know, that whereas I was blind, now I see. Then said they to him again, What did he to thee? How opened he thine eyes? He answered them, I have told you already, and yet ye did not hear. And ye did not hear. Wherefore would ye hear it again? Will ye be his disciples? Then they reviled him and said, Thou art his disciple, but we are Moses' disciple. We know that God spake unto Moses. As for this fellow, we know not from whence he is. Verse 30 says, The man answered and said unto him, Why herein is a marvelous thing, that ye know not from whence he is, and yet he hath opened my eyes. Now we know that God heareth not sinners, but if any man be a worshipper of God, and doth his will, he heareth him. Since the world began, was it not heard that any man opened the eyes of one that was blind? If this man were not of God, he could do nothing. They answered and said unto him, Thou wast altogether born in sins, and thus thou teach us? And they cast him out. So, then we go to the fifth and final point of this unfolding drama, the aftermath. In verse 35 through 41, we're going to break it down in two phases here. Phase 1, Jesus and the man, in verse 35 through 38. Jesus heard that they had cast him out, and when he had found him, he said unto them, Thus thou believe on the Son of God? He answered and said, Who is he, Lord, that I might believe on him? And Jesus said unto him, Thou hast both seen him, and it is he that he talketh with. And he said, Lord, I believe. And he worshiped him. So now we're going to go to the final phase here. The final phase is Jesus and the Pharisees in verse 39 through 41. And Jesus said, For judgment I am come into this world, that they which see not might see, and that they which see might be made blind. And some of the Pharisees which were with him heard these words and said unto him, Are we blind also? Jesus said unto them, If ye were blind, ye should have no sin. But now ye say, We see, therefore your sin remaineth. So, the next little quick study we are going to do, which will be coming up soon, will be about, did Jesus come to give judgment or not? So much love to you all. May God bless you all, and smash that like button.